Yo, welcome back to Guards and Grill Boxing. I just stepped to my man. I know he wanted to get show off. I'm trying to stay aggressive. Box score.
He getting it cracking like Calzaghe.
Joe Calzaghe versus Bernard Hopkins for the Ring Magazine Light Heavyweight title of the world, the linear championship. We're gonna spark this off.
Sleep, before we get started, I want to give some shout outs to some special GYGB family member that held GYGB down. My man Forgive, Battle Smack, Rocky M92, 20-0, P.O. Mill, Ring King, Volley Boy is back. Welcome back, homie. Like all the cats that's been my man Jafar Martin, man. I told you I was gonna give you your props, homie. And my man 585, we the best.
So that iPhone right
here, like the five entry.
Yeah, he got 5 entry. They passionate about the sport. That's what I love about our GYGB family.
He made the was he the one that made the Tony Kukoc parallel?
He made the Tony Kukoc. That was an excellent parallel, Jafar. So without y'all, it ain't no Guards and Grill Boxing. So I just wanted to give a special tribute to y'all before we even get this thing popping. So let's get right into it, man.
Like my man's nickname Sleep, this fight was a sleeper. I mean, you know, Bernard is a legend. You know, he started the fight great, but he faded in the end. He did the opposite of what he did against Jermaine Taylor, which kind of puzzles me. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, all props to Calzaghe, you know.
Sleep's mimicking in the back. Nobody picks up on Sleep mimic moves. I figured I'd give you some
all props to Calzaghe. I mean, you know, he's the ring champion now. It was a very boring fight. 116, 111 is kind of crazy, but, hey, you know, this is what happens when you don't let your hands go. A lot of pity pat, a lot of stuff that, you know, didn't really score, but he stayed active, he stayed busy, and Bernard didn't do anything. Bernard actually lost this fight more so than Calzaghe won it.
Well, the thing about this fight, on paper, it looked like when you factor in Bernard's age, 43 years old, how many wars he's been in, Calzaghe's age, 35, and we talked about this last show, his hand speed and the volume of punching, like he threw like 700 punches. But the one thing that I will say is that Bernard made him look very rudimentary in his skills.
Yeah, very ordinary.
Many times. You know, a lot of his exchanges, he was throwing 6-7 punches, barely landing anything. Bernard was catching everything with the shoulders, coming in, countering, putting the head down. Everybody was saying if he beats Bernard, this would be a big accomplishment for him.
Pound for pound, some people are saying.
Personally, I don't think he should move anywhere from where he's at right now. And
I still have him number 2 on my list. I know you got.
I don't have him number 2.
Well, that's another discussion when we do our pound for pound list. But you know,
my thing with Bernard is he, like you alluded to earlier, he started, and this is what I said: Bernard can get old early on in this fight. Bernard came in with guns a-blazing and. You know, he dropped the dude with what my man Sleep calls the pole. He threw that pole out there off for that jab.
No, y'all was nervous out there too because me and Sleep predicted TKO, but go ahead.
But Bernard got tired. Tired. I mean,
First time in his career.
First time, man. And 9th round, he was showing you the way he was holding. He got tired. And to me, not only did Joe's amount of punches thrown, because I don't believe in that, what's it called, CompuBox.
Yeah.
Shout out to CompuBox, Chicanito Hernandez. But I don't believe in it. I don't think that flawed computer system can decide the outcome of a fight. I have a big problem with that.
Or 117, 111, like your man.
That's ridiculous.
Like your man had it.
That means he won how many rounds? They had him winning 8 rounds.
8 rounds or 4, which is
8 rounds. Because if you gotta add that point that he lost on the knockdown. But personally, Bernard won that fight.
So what was the score you had, Docs?
I had Bernard winning. I had Joe winning 4 rounds.
And you picked Calzaghe to win the fight, so it's not like you.
Bernard made it. Bernard made it his fight.
Right.
You know, it was a very dirty, rough and tumble.
And Joe fell in.
But the problem is, fights. It's not how you start the fight. A lot of times, it's how you finish. And you know, that was what played into the faulty scorecards we had. And you know, I knew it was going to be a split decision or I thought it was going to be a draw. It could have been a draw because there was a lot of close rounds early on that Harold Letterman gave to Calzaghe that we gave B-Hop.
A lot of action in the fight. I thought there was a lot of illusion going on in the fight. With my crew, we scored at 114, 113.
GYGB as a whole.
GYGB as a whole, but I had issues with round 3 and 4 because it wasn't clean-cut victories, I thought, for Calzaghe as well. We know Bernard came out. First of all, he dictated the pace throughout the fight. He fought a measured fight. He hurt him early on. A lot of punches was not landing from Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe was coming out there, he was getting frustrated, couldn't find Bernard early on. When he was landing flurries, none of them was landing. And I was asking people, did that land? Did that land? We was watching the box score, and the box score was trumping the numbers up, and it wasn't decisive. It wasn't decisive clean punching. Bernard was landing clean punching. The one thing about the fight, for the first time in his career, I saw Bernard Hopkins get gassed in the championship rounds. He dominated the 10th round after he pulled the old head move and got his 5-minute rest. But the 11 and 12, I definitely gave to Joe, which brought it out to, on my GYGB scorecards, an even fight, but Bernard winning by the knockdown extra point in the first. Now, my personal scorecards, I wasn't too decisive about giving, Joe the 4th round. I thought Joe landed a good, clean lead left hand early in the round, and he tried to steal it at the end, but he didn't land anything clean. Meanwhile, throughout that fight, people wasn't really scoring the fact that Bernard was
Talk about the
tenderizing
commentary a little bit, because we kept saying, "Did you see the body shot?"
Max Kellerman had a
Well, Max saw the fight we was watching.
All right, first of all, continuing our rant, and I'm a great fan of HBO, but the commentary was really a poor performance this night. A lot of times they were saying, first of all, we go to our man, OK Jim,
cartoon, aka the cartoon.
OK Jim was totally off. He was giving, I think he gave the 10th round to Joe, which was ludicrous,
right?
And he gave a lot of early rounds to Joe that it was plainly to see that he lost.
The second round he gives to Joe.
That was a round.
He gave the second round to Joe.
Yeah, that was.
So it was a lot of between that and Jim Lampy saying he landed certain punches that weren't landing. I mean, when they would show the replay, it was more like boom, boom. Just like we said, a lot of arm punches, a lot of elbow shots, a lot of stuff that wasn't landing clean. And as far as Harold's terminology with effective aggressiveness,
aggression will be just fine, Harold.
Yeah. As far as that, it seemed like him and Emmanuel was just saying that Joe was winning the fight just by pressuring Bernard, but he wasn't landing punches. He did pull out the championship rounds, but I got Bernard up another 2 points because I wasn't too sure about the 3rd and 4th. Even that, I give him up 2 points to win the fight.
It's hard a lot of times in boxing to win a fight going backwards, man.
Right.
One of the few people that can do that, and they proved it in years past, was Floyd,
Sweet Pea Whitaker,
Sweet Pea,
and
James Toney.
As you know, I picked Bernard Hopkins to win TKO, and it almost proved to be true in the beginning, early stages of the fight. Bernard was imposing his will. He took Joe. Now, Sleep don't think he has a jab, but I didn't see a jab tonight either, so it's hard to argue Sleep's point.
Joe?
So, yeah, Joe just came straight forth throwing flurries, and Bernard put him in the trash bag and bodied him up like he does all his opponents, like Winky Wright, like Tara, like Jermaine Taylor. He came out being offensive, and then Bernard put him on the defense. He caught him with the straight right hand. Joe went down, and like a true champion, Joe got up. Where I think that the ties got changed at was Joe actually, to me, made proper adjustments in the fight. Now, I agree with my colleagues here. I don't think Joe landed sure shot punches. I thought a lot of them was elbow shots and shoulder shots. But what he did was he stayed busy. And as a smart fighter, this is a smart man here, he know if you keep your hands going, you're scoring points. Sugar Ray Leonard did it. All the great ones do it. You know what I'm saying? But my point being is Joe made the proper adjustments in the fight. He adjusted to Bernard's timing. He held very well in the fight, which was key. He was clutching Bernard with his own clutching style.
And he stayed busy in the clutch.
And he stayed busy in the clutch.
Another thing you're failing to note is that where his punches was coming from, they were coming from all over the place.
Exactly. And I'm about to give you
side to side.
I'm gonna give you some props because I said like Winky Wright, he took his jab away. And shout out to Winky, who's a technician, Hall of Famer, but that's pretty much his signature punch. You take that away, that's it. And you said it. You said Joe's a more offensive fighter. It's a little bit more angles coming. And I think that was the difference in the fight. I think Bernard worked his tricks, but this cat kept coming. He wouldn't stop coming. This is the first time Bernard fought a dude since Roy Jones Jr. And I compared this fight to Roy Jones when I first made my prediction, when he fought a guy that was busy, like Roy Jones. The difference was Joe didn't fight Bernard from 2 feet away. He fought him inside. Like I said, the punches, a lot of them wasn't landing clean. But as being a smart, because he's a veteran too. He's 35. He's no spring chicken. He kept his hands busy. Bernard didn't. And that's why he won the fight.
One thing that Bernard said at the end of the fight was true. He said the boxing fans. I didn't see Calzaghe hit him with anything significant throughout the whole fight. He got a couple good shots in, but it was mainly, it was like you said, it was just he
He made it look amateurs at times.
He was busier and he threw a lot of punches, and
That's the name of this game.
that's the name of this game.
And we all been watching boxing a long time, so we
Right.
can't really be too salty about it.
And when
It
Bernard
happens.
would come in, he was landing. You know how Bernard, he just charged like, but he would hit. You know, he would get
No, he
like
was
a body
landing,
shot. He
That
was
head,
landing.
Bernard.
You know,
But
he
like
went in, he
Sleep
didn't
said,
first.
Let me ask
Like, you know,
let me ask you a question, Mike, Big Mike, seriously. All the fights Bernard lost, right?
right?
He lost for what reason?
Inactivity.
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 For some
No matter
reason,
what age you
For some
are.
reason, and my man said it best. For some reason, Bernard gambles on the fact that he's gonna that his
Eventually
opponent is
wear him
gonna eventually wear down.